So welcome everyone to our virtual family council meeting. I am your host, Jamie Rose. We're going to review our confidentiality reminder at this time. Please refrain from using the name of your loved one. Do not name any specific facilities. Please use a nursing home or the personal care home to present to the group. If you need specific assistance, please use the chat feature to state which county you are in, and we'll get you connected to your assigned ombudsman. And just a reminder, these calls have public access and are designed for family members and friends of residents in long-term care facilities. So our meeting agenda this evening, we're going to get our virtual meeting tips from Jay, and then we're going to open it up for an open discussion. And then we're going to review our upcoming meeting topics. So I will turn it over to Jay for our virtual meeting tips.
Thank you, Jamie. Everyone, you've been placed in mute upon entry to reduce background noise. If you would like to speak or have a question, please use the raise hand feature. Once you raise your hand, we'll know to acknowledge you and unmute your line. The chat feature is at the bottom of your screen. Once you maximize it, you will be able to chat with the chat moderator if you have a question or comment. Closed captioning is available during today's call. Please press the CC button at the bottom of the screen to enable the closed captioning. If you need to step away, you can stop sharing your camera by clicking on the camera icon at the bottom of the screen. You can click on it again to start sharing your camera again. And finally, questions or comments can be directed to me at the State Ombudsman Office. The number is 717-783-8975. Or you can reach us by email at capital-LTC-ombudsman@pa.gov. Jamie, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jay. And at this time, we're going to open it up for our open forum discussion. We'd like to see what topics that we haven't covered in our almost 2.5 years since I can't believe it's almost been 2.5 years since we started the virtual family council, but time flies. So if there's any topics that you think we should cover that we have not covered, or if there's anything that maybe we need a little bit more on.
Jamie, have you guys talked about like dom cares and what you need to qualify for a dom care and the difference between dom cares or personal cares or
We have not.
okay.
That's a good idea.
Because I know in some counties there's a lot of dom cares. In our county, there's maybe a handful. And I think people just don't know what it is and how you get licensed for it, or what the methods that you need to go through to get a licensing for it.
Absolutely. That's a really good one. And some counties are looking at us like we're crazy because they don't have dom care at all. So that's something to consider. Awesome. And that's okay, April. We've covered a lot. One of the ones that we haven't is Veterans Affairs. So I'm trying to secure them ferociously for November. So if anybody has a contact with the VA, please let me know. I'm really trying to reach out there and see if we can get someone to speak on, any kind of how to get your loved ones connected with veteran services and what they offer for folks in long-term care. We've covered dementia a few times, but that seems to be one that comes up every time. I know we recently had the Dementia Friends training. That seemed to be well attended.
Piggybacking on that, Jamie, the difference between delirium and dementia, maybe that could be covered, because sometimes people are confused, but there's another reason. There's a medical reason. And they don't necessarily have dementia.
That's a good one. We had Linda Shoemaker, but it's been over a year. That's a good one. And one of the things that we had discussed in the work group was switching from every other week, because it seems to be difficult to track for a lot of folks. Especially if we take a week off, then it's like mass chaos. So we're trying to rebrand to just doing the third Tuesday of each month and kind of doing a theme. So we'll stick with that topic for the entire month. And if anybody thinks, this is crazy talk and you want to go back to the every two weeks, you guys let me know. This is your meeting. We're just here for, organizational purposes. So what we have for our September 20th meeting is we want to review a lot of the legislation and the bills that have been introduced. We've had a lot of changes with CMS. So I'm reaching out to Consumer Voice to see if they would want to help us take that on for our September 20th meeting. And that's kind of going to kick off our every third Tuesday.
I think that sounds like a good idea. And also maybe at some point we could get Carrie back and they could give us an update on the state legislation. And
Absolutely. They're kind of my backup plan if I don't hear back from Consumer Voice. I don't know where everybody is today. Usually we have around 30 folks on. We do have a lot of people on vacation though.
I was on vacation on Friday, so I just read this a couple hours ago because I was out and about. So I was thrown off.
Well, we're glad you made it, Carol. And we don't, another thing that I'm really happy to announce is Margaret found a way to get us a little bit of financial backing in case we want to have a paid speaker come on. So don't let that be limiting if somebody needs an honorarium or anything of that sort. So if you have anybody in mind, let me know and we could see if we can make that happen. We were passing along the idea of maybe having another person for caregiver respite. We did have one. It's been over a year since we had somebody, I think, for that. And it's very important for the self-care and all. So I don't know if you guys think that would be something that we might want to have on again. Yeah, thumbs up from April. Maybe that's a good idea. Any other thoughts? We have a really good array here. Got some ombudsman, got some volunteer ombudsman, got maybe even a resident in here.
I think this would be really difficult to find anybody that would talk on it, but maybe like Leading Age or somebody. What are they going to do to raise the, nursing home staffing ratio? I think they have till next year to do that, but how are they going to really do it?
Maybe what their plans are. And
Mhm.
yeah, we can definitely reach out. Hey, we can always ask. I'm really good with working on the silences, guys. I can talk to myself too if you want me to. I know you got some ideas. Anything you're interested in, Marcia, since you're pretty new ombudsman?
I was just actually typing. I'm interested in, I know we have the midterm elections coming up. So how does that work when people live in a facility? Do they get an absentee ballot sent to them individually, or do they have like a polling place in the activity area? Because I'd certainly like, I think it's important for them to make sure that they have, access to voting,
Absolutely.
especially with this election. Yeah, seems to be a pretty contentious one.
Absolutely. We did cover voting rights before. Corey Hurley did an amazing presentation, but that is a really good idea. We can reshare that.
I may have missed it since I'm kind of new. I'm not sure. And I know we had voting stuff on the LMS that I
Yeah,
watched, but I don't think it was clear to me like how, especially because Pennsylvania seems to be a little bit up in arms with like write-in ballots and, so I'm just curious to know how that all looks, I guess, because I would like to
absolutely.
encourage, I know the places I go to vote.
Yeah, and it's kind of different between the facilities too, because some facilities I know in our area was actually a voting place. So residents could go down
Okay,
in person and do it, but it's different, every place is different.
right,
Um,
yeah.
but that might be something for us to track, and reshare.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that. Yeah, it'd be, and yes, is there a difference between voting at a personal care home, like some of the SSI kind of based homes? Is there a difference between voting there and voting in like a nursing home? I don't know.
Yeah, there really shouldn't be. I mean, they can always,
Okay,
help. The facility should assist with transportation needs if somebody does want to vote in person. Um,
okay,
but those are things that, obviously need to be planned ahead of time if
okay,
that's what they want to do. So it's really up to the residents if they want to try to do that in person or if they want to do an absentee ballot.
okay. Is that something I should bring up at like the next resident council meeting I attend, or is that something I should just kind of see if they bring up? Or should
You
I just
could.
ask like, how does voting look here? Okay,
Absolutely. Yep.
all right, thank you.
You can ask. A lot of facilities put that kind of to the activities staff or social
Okay,
services. I know there's other ombudsmen on the call, so have you seen different things like that?
okay.
I'm getting some head nods. Nobody wants to talk to me.
What Marcia is saying about the confusion about the elections themselves. Even though at this point in time, it's legal for people to vote by mail, that has been under discussion since the last elections. And people in the system are extremely confused. And that someone put the new fact sheet out, and we had sent it back and forth the other day on Friday. That's certainly something that we could put on the website.
Absolutely.
What the law is.
Terry has her hand up, and I'm not sure if we can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Floor is yours, Terry.
Well, just to let you know, I know somebody was saying, how do we do it? I know here in our nursing home, it is something that the activities department takes care of. And they go through initially to make sure that we all want who wants to vote and who doesn't. And then they come and they make sure that we're, some of us are signed up there. We automatically get ballots here. But they make sure everybody who wants to vote can vote. And interestingly, all they have to do instead of mailing is walk out our back door. There's a little building behind us. It's actually a voting center. It's they've just built it there. So you can go in and register and vote if you want. But yeah, they have it here so that we can vote ourselves. They collect the ballots. We have to put them in the little envelopes and everything, but they collect the ballots. They help people who need help but want to vote. But yeah, it's all taken care of in-house, and it's by the activities department. And they've got a
Oh.
good system down.
That's fantastic, Terry. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Very good. And that's something we can definitely, increase posting on the website. Some helpful links for folks. Any other
Thank you.
ideas?
Jamie, there was a thing I saw on my email today, again about the green nursing homes that are starting to become more popular, and it was out of Maryland and New York, where I guess they're going to be doing it from what I could read. And I didn't read it very thoroughly, but it sounds like those are the two states that are really getting into it now, or starting to for the future. And my interest, when I read it, I was like, I wonder how I can get into one of those. How do you register? How do you get placed in one of those type homes would be, for me, an interest.
Absolutely.
And on the same on the train of thought, like way back in the day, the Eden alternative, which is similar to the greenhouse concepts, it was originated in New York State. I don't know if that's still even a popular catchphrase.
It is.
And then really, what's the difference? And I see that the Pioneer Network, which is a nationwide organization, Jamie, I think you went to their conference, that they're going to go under the umbrella of the greenhouse. So
They're partnering now. So it's Pioneer Network and the Greenhouse Project.
yeah, so I mean, it would be, I don't know if we could still get, I can't remember the guy's name. It was Tom somebody or another that originally thought of the Eden alternative, probably in the 1980s. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that the email I got today was based out of Linthicum, Maryland. And
Good.
it's like, apparently it's a new, I've never gotten this email before, but it had me on their list of keeping me updated. So I can't get to that when I'm talking to you all right now, but I can always send you the information if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think I got that one as well. That's definitely something to consider. I seen a lot of different things when I attended their conference in Denver in July. So they have a lot of neat initiatives. There was one, it's kind of, I'm probably reaching a little bit, but Canada's version of our peers, they call it the Green Bench. So it's advice from the elders. So it's really interesting. And one of the gentlemen was at the conference, and he has his own podcast now where he can share his advice and things. He's a fantastic gentleman.
How do you get access to that?
I'll try to dig through some of my resources and post that.
Okay.
I think they're on, I just have to figure out what the catchphrase is, but they're on Spotify and all the major podcast. I'm not a big podcast girl, so but
I'm
that's
not
something I
either.
would tune in for.
What Terry was talking about in the collaboration had to do with the House of Representatives bill at the federal level, 8677. That was one of the things that we talk about on the 20th.
Absolutely. So we're going to dive more into that one next time, Terry, after we all have time to review our notes. But there is quite a lot of legislation, federally and at the state level. So things that we need to keep an eye on. We've definitely missed Jeannie. She's our resident legislation expert here. She keeps an eye out for us.
We did miss you. Oh, my.
Thank you, Carol.
Yeah.
April, I see that you mentioned that this meeting, and not singling you out, but the previous meetings are available on the website. They're recorded if you want to look at.
Absolutely.
And April also has another comment. Have you talked about pharmaceuticals, medication management?
That's a topic we haven't gotten into. That's a good idea. Any particulars on
Pharma,
I mean, I just, like I said, I'm coming into this new, but, you know, some of the, you know, care facilities that we've dealt with lately, there's legislation that, you know, medication can be delivered up to an hour before or an hour after. And some of the medication that my relative is on, you know, some of it needs to be delivered at precise times for Parkinson's, and some has to be given with food, some can't be given with food. And it's challenging to get the facilities to get it right. And then every, you know, new facility, from the hospital to rehab to the care facility, they all want to order their own pharmaceuticals. Like, you know, my mom is kind of frustrated about paying for all these medications that nobody wants to use.
That's a good point. And trying to keep in that communication open and see if maybe there's something that, you know, might make that easier for residents and family members throughout those transitions.
Yeah, consistency is the best way to make things work. But I understand what she's saying. It's just, it doesn't happen. And also in here, you know, as I'm sure it is with other facilities, you know, it's 4 times a day. So it's like 10, 2, 6, and 10, which may not be the way it's supposed to be. You know, it's just weird and not necessarily beneficial.
And you know, everybody wants to go back to the doctor, but if the doctor doesn't communicate something clearly, getting it straightened out is a mess.
Yeah, if you're supposed to take something every 6 hours, it still ends up, instead of every 6 hours, will end up 4 times a day at, instead of 12, 6, 12, 6, may end up at 10, 2, 6, and 10, you know?
Yeah.
Which I've had that happen.
Very good point, Terry. Maybe that's something we could try to work through
Yeah,
and see what best
mean-
practices we might be able to find.
right. I mean, sometimes you have to fight for what you think is best. Can't always help, but you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still really new at dealing with all of this, so any advice is appreciated at this point.
I know in the nursing homes, they have to have a consulting pharmacist, and the pharmacist reviews all the medicine. And I don't understand it really, but they can only have so many medications in certain classes of drugs. And then they write recommendations to the doctor. But what if the doctor often doesn't listen to the consulting pharmacist and ignores their recommendations? So, but I don't know where they find those consulting pharmacists that are qualified to do that, but they do come in and review them.
I know our pharmacist comes from the company that we have a contract with to give us our medications, which is, we're in Pennsylvania, they're in Jersey. And he comes, I guess, weekly during the night shift. Because that's the first time I saw him was like a couple weeks ago. And he's like, I'm like, oh, you're new. He's like, oh, no, I come all the time. Well, I guess I have to be up during the night to find him.
That's an interesting concept there, though, Terry. Is he hiding from you?
Yeah. Granted, it's quieter during that time, but still.
Very good discussions. This is good stuff. I was kind of taking it one step further in my mind too, kind of seeing how Department of Health or, the licensing agents, how do they review those? Because I mean, there's always somebody reviewing the review.
They do cite the facilities for not listening to the consulting pharmacist recommendations. They have cited doctors for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So can anybody else think of any topics that would be beneficial that we haven't either gotten to yet or that we might need some more information on? I'm going to advance this a little bit so you can see what the game plan is. So these are the meeting dates that we have following our new third Tuesday schedule. And I just got this one this morning, so I was pretty excited about getting someone to speak on the life centers and, what all that entails. Well, we'll be emailing this to you guys too. I see everybody writing it down. I'll probably just put this graphic straight up on the Facebook page as well. Since this is an open discussion, I'm going to ask a question. When you guys find information about virtual family council, what's the source that you get most of your intel from? Is it from the listserv that we email, or is it the Facebook page, your local ombudsman? I was kind of curious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where I stumbled across it. I think one of the, assisted living facilities had a poster up about, reaching out to the ombudsman.
Very good. Yeah, we did a push for that. And a lot of the local ombudsmen put up signs and how to contact us. So that's really good that they still have them up.
I think Corey, our ombudsman, told me about it. I think.
I wouldn't doubt that. Corey puts up signs. She has a newsletter. She's got it covered.
Amy, had we not had for the December meeting, did you not mention visitation as one of the possible topics for December?
We did. I didn't have anybody confirmed for speaking on that one, so I kind of put that one to be announced because I wasn't sure what all we wanted to cover with the visitation. So that's a good thing to put out to the group too.
I missed what that was about.
Yeah, we had thought about for the December topic to be maybe visitation.
In the facility?
Yeah, kind of during the
Yeah.
holidays and things.
Okay.
I'm not sure what specifics we wanted to get into or who you would want to hear that from.
Are any of the counties during the visitation restricted anywhere? Fairfield's over 20, almost 21% positivity right now. I just wondered if
Yeah, up here it's very high too. Bradford is 17.8. Sullivan County, 25%. Susquehanna, 15.6, and Tioga, 16.7. But I mean, like Terry, you know that like you probably have people in your facility that have COVID right now, don't they?
We have one.
Just one. I mean, I actually went into a place today that had some COVID. I did not go into the person's room,
Mhm.
but I mean, it's complicated. Yeah, they could never turn the ombudsman deny access, but they can't deny access to the families anymore either.
Right.
But
And I heard,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I heard today from one of the activities people, because we were having a little gathering doing a game, and she said that the regulations are actually going to get more lax. So she wasn't quite sure what that all meant, but apparently that's what she was told. And right now, even though we have, I mean, we may have someone one of our floors for admissions because we are admitting. I know we just had one person that showed up with COVID about a week ago. And we're not even sure how she got it, except she went to a doctor's appointment. And that's the only, we don't even know how she came up positive, but she did. But yeah, it used to be they shut the floor down, they shut our activities down, and none of that really happened this time. So I don't know. I mean, maybe we're just getting used to it all. I don't know. But it's certainly a whole lot different than what it was 6 months ago. But when it comes to visitation, at least for here, I mean, you have to have a mask on, you have to have had your shots. But other than that, there's no, people can pretty much come and go. And we're like the biggest facility around, so.
Thank you for sharing that, Terry.
I was just curious, Terry, do you see a lot of families or a lot of visitors in the building?
Yes,
Right.
yes. In
Yeah.
fact, my roommate's family came in yesterday
Good.
up here to the room.
I think some of the, limiting the restrictions might have to do with some of the outcomes we're seeing from the social isolation.
Yeah, we just, everybody, I mean, to say it's like it was, it's not quite true because there's, you have to have your mask on and things like that, but there's still a nice ebb and flow of visitors.
good. I definitely appreciate everybody sharing too. And if anybody has any ideas, if you're like me, if figure it out after the fact, you have a great idea. You can always put it up on the Facebook page or send us an email. I'll have Jay's email up here at the end. He is fantastic at forwarding those to us as needed. So even if you send them to Jay, they'll make its way to us.
Yeah, I know all the facilities that I've been to lately have this AccuShield system where you have to answer questions about, anybody that you've been in contact with, or are you waiting for a COVID test? And then they print out a little badge that says you can go into the facility.
Well, yeah, we have that when you come in, you have to get your temperature taken, and
Right.
there's a little device that you put your wrist up to, takes your temperature, and then another little device like an iPad on a frame that you have to answer some questions, and then you get your little visitor's badge. But still, people are getting used to filling that out too now.
I am seeing some staff becoming lackadaisical about how they wear their masks.
True.
They'll have it like where their nose is exposed, or it's just haphazard. I don't know if they're just getting tired of the whole thing and they're being non-compliant.
That's true.
Any other thoughts or ideas? I think we covered a lot of good stuff. I know I got a lot of homework now. All right, and if you have any suggestions too, we want to make the Facebook page and, the chat area for families, as engaging and helpful for everyone. Please let us know if you have anything that you think would be beneficial to post up there. Anything like that. Like I said, we're open for all ideas. Oh my, Linda. Linda stated that her nurse had her mask down around her mouth. That's not good.
I hope she said something.
With Linda being an ombudsman, I bet she did. But as always, thank you all for attending. If you have any comments or questions, send those to Jay over at the state office at the LTC-ombudsman@pa.gov, or you can give him a call. He's very lovely to talk to. 717-783-8975. My email's all out there as well. If anybody wants to reach out to me directly, I could put that in chat right before we leave. If anybody has any last thoughts, feel free. But that's pretty much all I have for today.
Saw it in the chat. At HR 3730.
Well, for Irma, yeah, she was on at the beginning for a couple minutes there, Linda.